"Get out of my store. We don't serve your kind here." The manager's voice echoed through the electronics shop as Marcus Williams stood frozen, his hands still gripping the wheelchair he'd been examining for his daughter. "Sir, I have money. I just need to ask a few questions about this wheelchair," Marcus said quietly, his voice steady despite the humiliation burning in his chest. "I said get out. You're making my customers uncomfortable. Security." Welcome to Grateful Stories, where we uncover the moments that remind us humanity still exists in the most unexpected places. Today's story will challenge everything you think you know about justice, kindness, and the power of standing up for what's right. Let's uncover what really happened on that afternoon in Seattle, when a simple shopping trip became a life-changing encounter that would shut down an entire store and restore faith in human decency. Marcus Williams never imagined he'd be shopping for a wheelchair at 35. 2 months earlier, his 8-year-old daughter Emma had been diagnosed with a rare muscular condition that would require mobility assistance. As a single father working 2 jobs, Marcus had saved every penny for months to afford the equipment Emma needed. He'd researched extensively, read countless reviews, and finally settled on a specific model available at Tech Mobility Solutions, an upscale medical equipment store in downtown Seattle. The store had a reputation for quality products and knowledgeable staff. What Marcus didn't expect was the reception he'd receive. Walking into the pristine showroom wearing his janitorial uniform after finishing his morning shift, Marcus felt the weight of every stare. The store catered to wealthy clients, and his worn work clothes clearly marked him as an outsider. But Emma needed that wheelchair, and this store had the best model at the most reasonable price he could find. The trouble started the moment he approached the wheelchair display. A young sales associate immediately directed him toward the cheapest models in the back, assuming his budget without asking. When Marcus politely explained he was interested in the premium model, the associate's demeanor shifted. "That's a $12,000 chair, sir. Maybe you'd be more comfortable looking at our basic options." Marcus pulled out his phone, showing the banking app with his carefully saved funds. "I've been saving for months. I'd like to examine this model and ask some technical questions about adjustments for my daughter." The associate reluctantly began explaining the features, but his condescending tone made it clear he doubted Marcus could afford it. Other customers began staring, some moving away, as if Marcus's presence somehow diminished their shopping experience. That's when manager Richard Patterson intervened. Patterson had built his career on maintaining an exclusive atmosphere that made wealthy clients feel special. He saw Marcus as a threat to that carefully cultivated image. "Excuse me," Patterson said, approaching with a forced smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem," Marcus replied. "I'm just learning about this wheelchair for my daughter. She has a muscular condition and needs something adjustable as she grows." Patterson's expression hardened. He'd already decided Marcus didn't belong. "Sir, I think you might be more comfortable at one of our other locations. This particular store specializes in high-end equipment for our established clientele." "I'm a paying customer," Marcus said, his voice remaining calm despite the growing tension. "I have the money for this wheelchair, and I need to make sure it's right for my daughter." That's when Patterson made his fatal mistake. Instead of treating Marcus with basic human dignity, he chose to embarrass him publicly. "Security! We have a situation here." The scene that followed would be captured on the store's security cameras, though Patterson had no idea those recordings would soon be in the hands of someone with the power to change everything. As security approached, Marcus raised his hands peacefully. "I'm not causing any trouble. I just want to buy a wheelchair for my disabled daughter." "You're making our customers uncomfortable," Patterson declared loudly enough for everyone to hear. "We reserve the right to refuse service. Please leave immediately." The other customers watched in uncomfortable silence as Marcus was escorted toward the exit. Not one person spoke up. Not one person questioned the obvious injustice playing out before their eyes. "Please," Marcus said one final time at the door. "My daughter needs this equipment. I have the money. Why won't you let me buy it?" Patterson's response would haunt him for years to come. "Because people like you don't belong in stores like this. Find somewhere else." Marcus left the store humiliated but not defeated. He sat in his car for several minutes, processing what had just happened. As a black man in America, he'd faced discrimination before, but this felt particularly cruel. Emma was counting on him, and he'd failed to get what she needed. Unknown to Marcus, his ordeal had been witnessed by someone who would change everything. Dr. Sarah Chen had been browsing mobility equipment for her elderly mother when she witnessed Marcus's treatment. A successful physician and longtime advocate for disability rights, she was appalled by what she'd seen. But Dr. Chen had a secret weapon in her fight for justice. Her husband worked directly with Jeff Bezos on Amazon's accessibility initiatives. Within minutes of leaving the store, Dr. Chen was on the phone. "David, you need to hear about something that just happened. A father trying to buy a wheelchair for his disabled daughter was thrown out of a medical equipment store because of his race. It was absolutely disgraceful." David Chen listened to his wife's account with growing anger. As Amazon's director of accessibility services, he'd spent years working to make technology and equipment available to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. This story represented everything wrong with the current system. "Do you have the store's information?" David asked. "Tech Mobility Solutions on Fifth Avenue. The manager was wearing a name tag that said Richard Patterson." David made 2 phone calls. The first was to Amazon's legal team, requesting an immediate investigation into Tech Mobility Solutions business practices. The second call went directly to Jeff Bezos' office. At that exact moment, Jeff Bezos was wrapping up a meeting about Amazon's commitment to accessibility and inclusion. The timing couldn't have been more perfect or more devastating for Patterson's career. When David Chen's call came through, Bezos was already in the mindset of someone thinking about barriers facing disabled customers. The story of Marcus Williams hit him like a physical blow. "Get me everything on this store," Bezos said immediately. "Business practices, customer complaints, employee policies, everything, and find out who this father is. I want to speak with him personally." Within an hour, Amazon's research team had compiled a comprehensive report on tech mobility solutions. The findings were disturbing. Multiple online reviews mentioned discriminatory treatment. Several customers complained about being judged based on appearance. The store's own employee handbook contained outdated and potentially discriminatory language about maintaining clientele standards. More importantly, they'd located Marcus Williams through the store's security footage and public records. A deeper background check revealed a man working multiple jobs to support his disabled daughter after his wife's death from cancer 2 years earlier. Marcus was exactly the kind of person Bezos believed deserved support, not discrimination. Bezos made a decision that would shock the retail world. He was going to handle this personally. At 4:15 that afternoon, exactly 15 minutes after Marcus had been humiliated and ejected, a black sedan pulled up outside Tech Mobility Solutions. Jeff Bezos stepped out, followed by 2 Amazon executives and a legal representative. Patterson noticed the expensive car but didn't recognize the passengers. He was busy basking in the praise from several wealthy customers who had congratulated him on handling that situation earlier. In his twisted worldview, he'd protected his store's reputation and maintained its exclusive atmosphere. The bell above the door chimed as Bezos entered. Patterson approached with his practiced smile, assuming he was about to serve another high-value customer. "Good afternoon. Welcome to Tech Mobility Solutions. How can we help you today?" "You can start by explaining why you threw a paying customer out of your store 15 minutes ago," Bezos said, his voice calm but carrying unmistakable authority. Patterson's smile faltered. "I'm sorry. Who are you?" Jeff Bezos. And I'm here because you refused to sell a wheelchair to a father whose disabled daughter desperately needs one. You humiliated him, discriminated against him, and violated every principle of decent customer service. The color drained from Patterson's face. Around the store, customers and employees stopped what they were doing, sensing something extraordinary was happening. Mr. Bezos, I think there's been a misunderstanding, Patterson stammered. We have policies about maintaining a certain atmosphere for our clientele. Your atmosphere, Bezos replied, is discrimination. Your policy is prejudice. And as of right now, both are going to change. One of the Amazon executives stepped forward with a tablet. Mr. Patterson, are you aware that Tech Mobility Solutions sources 43% of its inventory through Amazon Business Services? Patterson nodded numbly. That contract is terminated immediately. Additionally, Amazon will be withdrawing its logistics support, cloud services, and payment processing systems from your operation. The legal representative spoke next. Furthermore, we'll be filing complaints with the Better Business Bureau, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and the Seattle Human Rights Commission regarding your discriminatory practices. But Bezos wasn't finished. However, I'm not here just to end your business relationship with Amazon. I'm here to give you a choice. Patterson waited, barely breathing. You can apologize publicly to Marcus Williams, implement comprehensive diversity and sensitivity training for all employees, and establish a policy ensuring equal treatment for all customers. Or, Bezos paused for effect, I can make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of establishment you're running here. What do you mean? Patterson whispered. I mean, I'll personally share the security footage of your behavior with my 68 million Twitter followers. I'll ensure every news outlet in America knows that Tech Mobility Solutions discriminates against disabled children and their families. Your store will become a symbol of everything wrong with American retail. The store fell completely silent. Everyone understood they were witnessing something unprecedented. One of the world's most powerful men personally delivering justice for a working father who'd been wronged. Patterson realized his career, his reputation, and his business were hanging by a thread. What do you want me to do? First, you're going to find Marcus Williams and deliver that wheelchair to his daughter personally, free of charge. Second, you're going to apologize publicly for your behavior. Third, you're going to implement changes that ensure this never happens again. And if I refuse? Bezos's expression hardened. Then I'll make sure you never work in retail again. Your choice. While Patterson struggled with his decision, Amazon's team was already reaching out to Marcus Williams. The call came as Marcus sat in his apartment, trying to explain to Emma why Daddy couldn't get her new wheelchair today. Mr. Williams, this is David Chen from Amazon. I'm calling about what happened to you at Tech Mobility Solutions today. Marcus was confused. I'm sorry, how do you know about that? My wife witnessed the entire incident. She was appalled by your treatment, and frankly, so are we. Mr. Bezos would like to speak with you personally if you're available. Jeff Bezos wants to speak with me? He's at the store right now, addressing the situation. But first, he wants to ensure you and your daughter get exactly what you need. But 20 minutes later, Marcus found himself on a video call with Jeff Bezos, still processing the surreal turn his day had taken. Marcus, I want to apologize for what you experienced today, Bezos said sincerely. No parent should face discrimination when trying to care for their child, especially a child with disabilities. I appreciate that, Mr. Bezos, but I just want to buy a wheelchair for Emma. She's been waiting so patiently. Emma's going to get her wheelchair, Bezos assured him. But more than that, she's going to get the support she deserves. Amazon has an entire division dedicated to accessibility products and services. We want to make sure Emma has everything she needs as she grows. What happened next would restore Marcus's faith in humanity. Not only did Emma receive the exact wheelchair she needed, but Amazon arranged for ongoing support, regular equipment updates as she grew, and access to their entire range of accessibility products. More importantly, Marcus was offered a position with Amazon's accessibility team, allowing him to help other families facing similar challenges. The story of what happened at Tech Mobility Solutions spread quickly through social media and news outlets. Patterson's choice to apologize publicly and implement changes saved his business, but barely. The incident became a case study in customer service schools across the country. More significantly, it sparked a broader conversation about dignity, respect, and the power of standing up for what's right. Marcus Williams, who had walked into that store as a humiliated customer, became an advocate for accessible shopping experiences everywhere. Emma received her wheelchair and thrived with her new mobility, but the real gift was watching her father transform from someone who'd been made to feel powerless into someone empowered to create change for others. Jeff Bezos later reflected on the incident during a company meeting. "We talk about customer obsession as one of our core principles. But true customer obsession means ensuring every customer, regardless of their appearance, background, or circumstances, receives the respect and service they deserve." What happened to Marcus Williams was unacceptable, and it reminded us why our work matters. The ripple effects continued long after that afternoon in Seattle. Tech Mobility Solutions became a model for inclusive customer service after implementing comprehensive changes. Other retailers took notice, updating their own policies to prevent similar incidents. Marcus Williams' story reminds us that justice doesn't always come from courts or legislation. Sometimes it comes from individuals with power choosing to use that power for good. It comes from witnesses refusing to stay silent. It comes from the belief that every person deserves dignity and respect, regardless of who they are or what they look like. But perhaps the most powerful lesson is this: you never know who's watching when you choose to discriminate or when you choose to stand up for what's right. In Marcus's case, the right person was watching at exactly the right moment, and justice was served swiftly and completely. Today, Emma Williams is thriving. Her father Marcus continues advocating for accessibility rights, and Tech Mobility Solutions serves all customers with equal dignity and respect. Sometimes the universe conspires to remind us that kindness and justice still exist, even in the most unexpected moments. That's the power of grateful stories. They show us that even in our darkest moments, help can arrive from the most surprising places, and one person's courage to do what's right can change everything for someone who desperately needs it.